Hi, and welcome to episode 20 of the Yoshi and Lucy Knits podcast. My name is Denise, and you can find me on Ravelry as Canary Song, and on Instagram, I am Yoshi and Lucy Knits. We also have a forum on Ravelry, which I managed to change recently to Yoshi and Lucy Knits. This is the 20th episode, which I couldn't believe when I was looking it up. That I've been doing this, that I have had 20 episodes of this podcast. So the last time I recorded was before my trip to Ecuador, and I came back now. This is like 2 days ago, so I wanted to do like a recap of everything that's been going on, and recording the day before I'm going to Rhinebeck. So I was like quickly trying to scramble to get a recording in before Rhinebeck, because then I'm sure I'll forget everything that I want to say before that. So yeah, this week I have a finished object, 2 whips. I have some acquisitions. Most of them are actually non-yarn related, which is a surprise for me if you've been watching this podcast. Then I'll do like a little recap of my trip. And that's it. So I have an FO, and it's my cobblestone socks, which is a pattern by Mina Phillip, and this is knit in Cat's Kettle yarn. And I finished the first sock before my trip, and I took the second one with me. I had knit the leg, and I just had to do the heel turn and the rest of the foot. And I feel like I've been knitting on this pattern forever, and I looked it up, and I cast this on August 30th, and I think it's just I'm guessing maybe the purling slowed me down. There's a lot of purling in this pattern, but I really enjoyed the knit, and I really like the yarn, and I like how there's a slight variation in both of them. And I forgot what what sock number I'm up to now. I think maybe this is my 13th pair for the box of socks cow, and these are socks for me. And I just followed the pattern. I did the German short roll heel that Mina has in the pattern, which I really liked, and I actually was knitting the heel when I was in the car. Usually when I'm like knitting on the go, I like to just knit when I'm knitting on a sock. I don't want to knit on a heel because then I'll lose count of where I am, and I just really like to just do a section that I can just drop at any time. But I decided to knit on the heel in a car, and I had to stop at some point, but then I was able to just pick it up and go on from there. So I really like the heel. And I'm glad to have this off the needles, because I feel like I have too many projects or going on right now, and I have a lot of projects that I want to do, so I want to get some stuff off. So what I was mostly knitting on my trip were these socks. I just need the heels. So this is the pattern is Vanilla Bean Stripe Socks, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And this is knit out of Knit Pix Felici and the Spooky colorway, which is a really old colorway. Maybe I got this yarn maybe like 3 years ago, I'm guessing. And I just didn't want to knit a plain sock, so I was looking in my queue, because I have a ton of sock patterns in there. And I saw this pattern for this Vanilla Bean pattern, and pretty much, and you can see the patterning right there, is just pretty much you're just knitting, and then once you get to the color change, you do a slip one, knit one, so it leaves like this really cool design. The problem I had with this was that sometimes the color change wouldn't happen until like in the middle of the row. So like some of the design is only on like half of the row or like a quarter of a row, because it doesn't really work when you um, don't have the color change, if you know what I mean. And the pattern had, I think, a traditional heel flap, but I didn't want to do that because, like I said, I was traveling, and when I travel, I really don't want to be fidgeting with a heel or whatever. So I just did a afterthought heel, and so I finished these two. I think maybe definitely like the first 3 days of my trip, because we were at the beach and there wasn't really much to do there in the evenings besides just like hang around and talk. So I just like knit on these while I was there. And I'm not sure about what I was gonna do with the heel. So once I finished both of them, I set them aside, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna do the same self striping, or try to find another color that matches it. I don't know if I have anything in my stash. I'm going to have to check. So yeah, these are socks for me again. Feeling kind of selfish lately because I know I want to start knitting. I want to do Christmas knitting early this year, and I've just been wanting to knit on stuff for myself. So coming up, I'm going to try to not cast on anything for myself so I can, do the Christmas knitting and get out of the way, so I'm not rushing like I am every year. So the third project that I was working on when I was away was another pair of socks. So this is knit out of my own yarn. Yoshi, so my yarn shop is Yoshi and Lucy, which I forgot to mention in the beginning. So yeah, every time I stop podcasting, it's like I forget how to podcast. So this is knit out of my yarn, Yoshi and Lucy, and the colorway is Many Faced God. And here it is in the skein. And I'm in a weird position of decreasing for the gussets, so it's like difficult to show. But I did I'm trying to remember, I have partridge heel because I really like how that looks. And these are actually socks from my friend Gina, who requested some socks, and it's her birthday's coming up, so hopefully I'll get it done before then. And she has a smaller foot than me, so it shouldn't take that long, right? And I picked these up after I finished those other socks. So I had the leg done, and I pretty much was just doing the heel, and I'm still decreasing the gussets. Yeah, not my favorite type of heel. Every time I knit on these, I always say the same thing. It's just something, I don't know why. I think it's decreasing for the gussets. It makes me feel like it takes forever to get to the point where I'm just knitting on the leg. So I tend to not knit those, but since I'm knitting these for somebody else, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if, the German short row heel would be good for her, or the afterthought heel would be good. So I just went with this heel. I didn't do that much knitting on the plane. I said the last episode that I was like making sure I had some wooden needles, but on our way there we went on a red eye, so we got on a plane at like 1 in the morning, and I was just so tired. I was just trying to go to sleep, because I know then that when we get there I was gonna have a bad day, and I didn't knit on the way there, and then on the way back I didn't knit at all either, because I'm a nervous flyer, so I was trying to do other things like watch TV, and I had a bunch of knitting podcasts that I had downloaded on my iPhone. I kind of forgot that people post their podcasts on iTunes as well, because I guess I don't do that, and I just watch everything on YouTube. And then when I was going on my trip, I was like worrying that, I'm not going to be able to watch podcasts because I can't stream anything. But then I remember that people have stuff on on iTunes. So I downloaded, let's see, the Suburban Stitcher, um, Book Stitcher, Woolivine, and the Knit Girls. So I pretty much had enough podcasts to last me for a while, and it was a good thing that I did that, because when I went to the beach house, we don't have any Wi-Fi or anything there, so I didn't have any way to stream anything. So I pretty much like watched a couple of podcasts, what I had on my phone, and that that kept me entertained. So yeah, and I brought a bunch of project bags, which I've never shown on the podcast before, but this is something that I sewed up months ago, because I was trying to just practicing on my sewing skills. And so yeah, this is my own I actually have a Yoshi and Lucy label, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna sell any project bags. I feel like I need to practice on my sewing, but I do like how this one came out. A lot of I have other bags that have obvious mistakes, but I like this bag, and it's a good thing I brought this bag, because, as I'll show you later, my acquisitions came in handy to show as a sample. So yeah, so shortly about my trip, I went to Ecuador for about 12 days for my cousin's wedding, and I never really went around that time of the year. When I was a kid, we would go every other year. My mom would take us, and it would always be, during our summer vacation. So it would be in July and August, and over there it would be like very hot. And so I was expecting to go there and just be like sweating like crazy, but it wasn't. It was actually in the 70s. Or in the low 80s, and in the evenings it would be like a nice breeze, but of course for the people living there, they think that's cold. So it was good for me because I didn't mind, and I was able to knit on things and not feel like I was like melting when I'm knitting. So so that was good, and it was just interesting. My family was watching me knit, and they had a lot of questions, and a lot of the comments I just kept hearing was, "Oh, I don't have the patience to knit. I don't have the patience to learn. It takes too long." Just like comments like that, I would constantly hear that over and over again. And I would just tell them, like, it's not always about how quickly you finish a project. Obviously, you want the finished project, but it's also a relaxing experience. And I would, like, one of my cousins would just like stare at me, and like he even like recorded a video and posted on Facebook of me knitting, and I said, "Do you want me to teach you?" And he said no. So he was just watching me, and then I had another cousin watching me, and then so yeah, I was just feel like I was just putting on a show for these people. But not to mean anything negative, but it was just interesting their thoughts on it. And none of them really knit. It's especially where they live, and which is Guayaquil. It's like it's a coastal city. It's a warmer climate, so they don't really need knitwear unless sometimes they want a blanket or socks in the evening. So there's not really this culture of knitting. There is a big culture of sewing. So like my grandma sews, and that used to be her career. So you'll find a lot more people that sew, but not that many people that were knitting. So I guess I'll get into my acquisitions, so I explain it. So I was trying to find yarn there, and it was just very difficult. My aunt had purchased yarn for me before, and but she got me all, I think it was like acrylic yarn, and it wasn't from Ecuador. I was trying to find something that's from Ecuador. So I did find a store after asking people in the city, do you know where they sell yarn? somebody said, oh yeah, there's this store in the center, and we were in the center of town. I couldn't even tell you the name of the store, but we walked in and they had yarn in the back of the store behind like glass doors, and they had to open it for you. But everything was acrylic. So I just, after like trying 2 days to find yarn, I just gave up and I just said, okay, so I'm not gonna find yarn here. So I got, well, the yarn that I want, but I did get this skein, I guess as like a souvenir. This is called a 10 Rinde Mas, and it's 100% acrylic. Color 8247. It's worsted weight, and as I'm reading on the label, it's actually from Peru. And I've seen this. I went to 2 stores and I saw this brand, so I just decided to get this, and I'll probably make like a hat as a gift for somebody. I do like the color. I was hoping that I would find something else. I was gonna go to Cuenca, which is a city 3 hours away from there, and it's on a higher elevation, so they have a colder climate. So I was hoping that I would be able to go to Cuenca to buy yarn, but we just couldn't find the time to get away because, you know, we were there for my cousin's wedding, and we really only had like 1 day to go there, and since I've never been there before, I want to go there when I actually have the time to go. So unfortunately I wasn't able to go there and buy yarn, but I did buy a lot of fabric. In the center of Guayaquil, there's like a huge, like maybe like 3 blocks just all of like fabric shops, and when I went in the store in the midday, it was like packed with people. And yeah, it turns out that a lot of people buy fabric to sew because it ends up being cheaper to buy fabric and sew it either yourself or pay somebody to sew something for you, because the prices of clothing, because I also went to the mall there, are like crazy. So that's why there was like so many people in the fabric stores. And the store that I went to is called El Barata, and it's in the center of town, so it's gonna be crinkling. But yeah, I like the logo, and I like when you purchase the yarn, they like write it out on this little piece of paper, and they have this whole process. Like, you pick out the fabric, the person cuts it, they write it on this paper, you go to the cashier, pay for it, and then you have to go on another line to like pick up your fabric. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I didn't have any intentions of buying fabric, but I was there and the prices were pretty good. So I went, the first day I didn't have a lot of time, so I picked up like 3 or 4 different types of fabric. And I had purchased all of these flower fabrics, and then I saw this on the wall, these watermelons, and I had to get it. And this one is not 100% cotton. I think the woman said it's like a synthetic blend. So it's pretty rough, but I think it'd be good as a project bag. And since the watermelons are pretty big, I'm gonna have to make big bags, or if not, you're not gonna be able to see the whole pattern. And so then the next day, this was like the day before my cousin's wedding, and people were busy, you know, getting ready for the wedding, and me and my mom didn't really know what to do. So we went back to this the center of town and I bought more fabric because I had like more time to browse. And I actually I didn't realize it, but the store actually was like 3 floors. So the first floor was just all like cotton. In the back they had like men's menswear fabric and jersey fabric, and then on the second floor was like kids fabric and like curtains, and on the third floor was like more curtains, and so it was a lot. So yeah, I picked up more fabric, so much fabric. So this is gonna be for like the inside of the bags, and I really like this one. This one has like a, I don't know what, some embroidery type fabric. It's really pretty. This one my mom picked out because she wants me to make her a bag. And yeah, and then so I picked up some more of the cheaper fabric, and they sell everything by meters there. They don't sell it by yards. So most of these I got like half a meter, and some of these are like a full meter. So this is the cheaper one, and this is like, it was like $2 a meter, and they use U.S. currency there. So when we go there, we don't have to. We can just use our money. We don't have to exchange anything. So yeah, I got a lot of fabric, all this, and I haven't really been sewing this year. I want to sew more. I feel like I just have the machine that's collecting dust, and I want to get into it just because I don't know, both of my grandmothers sew, so I feel like I have to continue on since my mom has no interest in any sort of craft. So I want to continue. None of my other cousins really care for crafting or anything, so I feel like I'm like the only one that can continue the legacy. So yeah, I'm gonna be these are probably all gonna be project bags. I don't know if they're gonna be in the store. I'm gonna practice on maybe some other fabrics because I haven't sewed anything in like months, and just to see how my sewing skills are. So another acquisition which I just received today is the Quilt As You Go Made Modern book, and I was really influenced by when I went to the Queens County Fair a few weeks ago by all the beautiful quilts that was there, and I really want to learn how to quilt. Again, this is the theme of sewing, and so yeah, I decided to pick this one up because I like the premise behind it is that you just sew quilt blocks like one at a time, because you know, being that I live in New York, I don't have room to have a giant quilt out and about, you know. So I literally just got this in the mail, so I haven't had the chance to look through it, but I know that there's just flipping through it and seeing what other people have done on like Instagram and Ravelry, that there's a table runner pattern in here. So that might be my first project, because it's gonna be small, and I'll probably give it to my mom because she always uses table runners. So that should be a good gift for her. That's all my acquisitions. I have no show notes this episode, so I might be a little bit discombobulated. As a shop update, all the ready to ship items are in the store. I did list some dye to order skeins that I put in before I went on vacation, and you're able to order. I have 3 bases right now, so I have my fingering merino nylon base, I have 100% merino fingering base, and I have a worsted 100% superwash merino. And so you can order the 4 colors that I have. You can order those 3 bases, and hoping to dye up some new colorways this week. I was really inspired by my trip, and So I really want to dye some stuff based on what I saw on my trip, and hopefully have some Christmas colorways coming soon. So yeah, um, so like I said in the beginning episode, I'm gonna be in Rhinebeck on Saturday, and I heard that there's gonna be a podcaster meetup, so I'm gonna try and be there. And if you see me, just say hi. I'll probably be quiet because that's how I am in person, especially around people I don't know. But yeah, just come up to me and say hi, and I'm gonna be handing out these little pins that I have with my shop logo on there. And if you can't make Rhinebeck, but if you order something from my store, um, and you want a pin, just leave a comment in the comments to seller when you order something, and I'll gladly include this in the order. So yeah, I filmed a bunch of stuff from my trip, and I decided I'm gonna do like a separate episode with it, just because then this file would be gigantic. So hopefully you guys would check it out. Just if you've never been to South America or Ecuador, you'll get to see a part of it, and hopefully you're gonna want to travel there at some point. So yeah, I'm really excited, and Rhinebeck is tomorrow. So I'll catch you guys later. Bye.